Okay, maybe this might be something worth recording. I've seen this whole notion of quiet quitting before, and I have my own strong opinions about it. Maybe Newsweek here, this article will change my mind. Let's see. Yes, quiet quitting is still a thing. Here's how to engage employees. New data shows quiet quitting is still a trend, but it also shows how to regain engagement before it's too late. Okay, there's a video here. I thought I was going to read it, but let's see the video. It's 46 seconds long. Quiet quitting doesn't involve resigning from your role, but means simply doing only what's required of your job. What? Okay, hold on. That was too early for me. Okay, let's see what this says. And not going above and beyond. Pay me more if I'm going above it. The topic has recently gained steam on TikTok. Go figure. It would be TikTok. Oh my god, is it? Everything bad happens from TikTok. Quiet quitting has over 185 million views on the platform. I don't use TikTok. I think it's the dumbest thing that's happened to society. It's making people dumber. Alright, okay. At least half of the U.S. workforce is made up of quiet quitters. Where do you get this data from? Is there a survey? I didn't take the survey. Is there a survey that says, do you consider yourself a quiet quitter? Yeah, I'm doing what's required of my job. I'm not going above and beyond because they're not paying me more to do it. Okay. Who are psychologically detached from and not engaged in their jobs? 32% of U.S. workers are engaged and 18% are actively engaged. Or disengaged, rather. Quiet quitting may be a sign an employee isn't happy with their job. Dude, that's like most people. Most people don't like their jobs. There's so few people who actually love their jobs. On average, right? I mean, you work your way. You have to go through like a crap ton of crappy jobs you don't like until you get to the job you actually like and passionate for. Oh my god. And could be experiencing worker burnout or alleviating stress. It may also mean you're ready to change positions or find another job. Yeah, this is like super common, right? All right, close. I have had maybe 7 jobs my entire life. You know, I have a job right now that I have no desire to leave. I'm at where I'm at. I finally made it to where I want to be. And it's given me a lot of opportunities. It's what I studied for. It's the company I want to be in. I'm happy. But there's the other jobs beforehand. I was just there. Do what's required on the job qualifications that I read when I was applying for the job, said I can do all those. Applied for the job, got the job, did the job, got paid for it. There's no point of going above and beyond. Why? They're not going to pay you more for going more. I hate to quote the Joker from Batman, but if you're good at something, don't do it for free, right? Don't be doing extra for free, because then they'll get used to it and take advantage of you. Okay, I digress. Let me read about this. Work is a grind, or so the social media trend would lead you to believe. The result of negatively about work, the continuation of quiet quitting, yes, it's still a thing, and the celebration of doing the minimum at work to get by. Is minimum work to get by the new trend that corporations or employers are saying, you're just doing your job. You're just doing your job. What you agreed, and we agreed to pay you. And there's a little hidden notion that we want you to do more. Okay, let me go back. For more evidence of the trend, look no further than lazy girl jobs or bed rotting for those who prefer to make a little effort as possible. Unfortunately, the trends are indicative of significant numbers of people who are disengaged from their work. Engagement is critically important, not just a nice-to-have characteristic of work. In fact, it's important for people because when they're committed to their work, they tend to have a high levels of well-being, happiness, and fulfillment. I agree with this if you have the job that you've been designing your entire life for, that you went to school, studied for, worked your way up to. But the jobs before, maybe the positions in the company before, they don't give you that well-being, happiness, and fulfillment, right? Not a lot of people, when they date, the first person they date, they marry, right? There's some of you in the comments who are going to say that. I get it. Okay, yeah. But for most people, the first person they date is not the one they marry. This goes the same for your employment, for a company. You get hired and you see where you fit in the company. You work, you do what's required, and you stick around if you're interested in being part of the company and moving up. Let's see. And of course, when people are engaged, organizations benefit as well from outcomes like productivity, innovation, and retention. I mean, it's a little bit of what I just said. Employee disengagement is a problem. 32% of workers are disengaged, and an additional 11% are so dissatisfied with their work that they are disrupting others, demonstrating poor performance and shrinking responsibilities. This is according to data collected from over 15,000 people in 7 countries by McKinsey & Company. I'd rather see the data from just the US. It's not fair to compare the US with 6 other countries. Well, who's to say, the 7 is, one of them is the US. But I digress. Let's keep going down here. In another study of over 16,000 people in 12 countries by HP, 73% of employees reported a lack of overall positive experience with work. This was based on combined concerns about their skills and abilities, the role of work in their lives, their leadership, the spaces where they work, and the technology they have available to them. So, given its importance and given that it's at low levels, how can companies and leaders reset and renew a work experience that inspires, motivates, and rewards people for their efforts? Most people are just working so they can provide for themselves and maybe their families. They're just taking the job so they can have a roof over their head, they can eat, and maybe take care of dependents that they have. That comes first before any overall positive experience at work you have. This is why it's important that many of these jobs, you go there to learn, to figure out whether this is what you want and move forward, or this is not what you want. You learn that this is not for you, but you've gained certain skills in there that you probably wouldn't mind enhancing, but some skills in there that you just don't want to be a part of. You don't want anything to do with. So you seek out a different position that's probably a better fit. All right, here's how to engage employees at work. Disengagement is a real problem in the workplace. Here are a few ways employers can engage employees before it's too late. Well, first of all, they have to give a crap. Most employers don't. Because for an employer, it's just, here's your salary. I expect you to do this job. And when I come back, I expect you to do more, although it's not written. It's just like me hiring a contractor to redo my kitchen, and without any discussion, I was expecting him to redo my bathrooms as well. And he doesn't have a crystal ball. He didn't know he wants me to do the bathrooms. He'd probably expect more money, but I don't want to pay him more. And because it didn't happen, I can call him a quiet quitter and feel entitled and make him feel bad, or her, right? That's just an analogy. Take it for what it's worth. Engage through meaningful work. One of the most important ways to improve engagement is to provide meaningful work. In fact, the McKinsey poll found the factors that most detracted from engagement were a lack of meaningful work, ranked second in its negative effect, lack of workplace flexibility, ranked third, unsustainable work expectations, ranked 10th. Okay. Lack of meaningful work, right? Like I said, most of the jobs I've had didn't give me great meaning. It was just a means to an end, right? I wasn't going to flip burgers forever. I wasn't going to work at the movie theater forever. I wasn't going to be in retail forever. My goals were different. I need a job so I could pay for college, pay for rent, pay for food. And then I finally got my master's. I went in the military, then got my master's with the GI Bill. And then now I got somewhere where I really want to be. It's part of the road to success. The lack of workplace flexibility. I mean, this is a tug and pull because I can see both sides of the argument. If you're the employer, your office is in the city and you want people there. People say, hey man, the commute sucks and I got a family to take care of. I only see them maybe 2 hours throughout the week. And then I spend the rest, and I live to see them on weekends. I want more workplace flexibility. And the employer can say, screw you, I'll find someone who's not complaining, right? So this is a pull and tug because I do see the employer's side, especially this type of business you are trying to run and operate. And people you're trying to hire align with that environment and the mentality. Because you can easily hire people who seem like they're a great fit, but really they're just saying whatever they have to say to get a job because they need to pay the bills. I get it. And unsustainable work expectations. Oh man, I definitely have had jobs that had crazy quotas, right? Super crazy quotas. And they make these quotas based on like the top 5% of performers where they expect the remaining 95% to meet. And it sucks. I'm very familiar of crazy work expectations. Now, it's also up to management who sets those expectations, but also make them realistic. But also find that fine medium of work productivity. Make sure there's enough work productivity in the office and you're meeting deadlines. So there's also a lot of pressure with management to make that. So I understand where they get, as the employee, the very bottom staff, unsustainable work expectations that drives to burnout. And management is feeling it from their executives too, about like, hey, this is the numbers we need to hit. You go bring the pressure on, bring the discipline. The HP poll also found that only 20% of people said the work gives them a sense of purpose. Only 28% reported that the work they do is meaningful, and just 20% of people feel connected to the work they do. So 28%. I'd figure it'd be a little bit lower. But I mean, I get it, right? Like I said, most of the jobs I had, they're means to an end. Didn't feel meaningful. Didn't give me the sense of purpose. Like I said, I'm not going to flip burgers forever. Until I finally got to the job that I'm in right now that's giving me that sense of purpose, that I feel connected to. It's because I want to be there. And if you're a younger generation like the Gen Z in college, think of an employer you want to work for. And figure out what you have to do to work for them. Private, government, whatever. It could be military too. Say if you want to be an officer in the military, what does it take to become one? Like say if you want to be an aerospace engineer and you want to work for Boeing, see what's required. Look up the job. See what's the requirements for the job. They'll list it out. You need this type of degree. You need this much experience. You need so and so. And figure out where to get the experience. Because Boeing's probably not going to hire you right away, but you have to find a company that's smaller than Boeing who's willing to hire brand new employees, interns, whatever. Then once you gain the experience, you meet all the check marks, you can go apply for Boeing and get that aerospace engineering job or whatever you want. Ensure people know how their work impacts the bigger picture and how it affects others. Reinforce the unique contribution people make to their work and validate their efforts with plenty of appreciation and recognition. No employee is going to say, I'm just here to get a paycheck. I'm just doing what's required because my priorities as an employee, I need to pay rent. I need to buy food. I need to take care of people. And I'm only taking this job because best one I can get right now. And if your employer heard that, then be like, you're not fully committed. We don't want you here. So it's a strange relationship. It's a really strange relationship. But again, most jobs, like, no one wants to flip burgers and make sandwiches forever, though. One actionable way employers can do this is to set company-wide goals and share them with employees. Managers can then work with direct reports to create individual goals that roll up to company goals. Additionally, align people as much as possible with what they enjoy doing. No job is perfect, but employees are generally more engaged when they do get what they like at work, not just what's required of them. Oh, pizza parties. Now, you know what employees really, really want? They want better pay every time. Every time. If you set those expectations, set those goals, let them know what the reward will be. If the reward is better compensation next year, after your evaluation, they'll start working harder for you. They will. If they don't know what the end goal is, if it's like a pizza party, then be like, screw it, it's not for me. I could care less about eating terrible food that makes me fatter. Engage through relationships. Another key factor is engaging people is ensuring they feel part of the community. We're a family. Yeah, you're part of us now. All it takes is the executives to make one bad decision that brings the company down, and you're the first person to get fired. In the McKinsey poll, lack of reliability or support from people at work was ranked 5th in what detracts from people's engagement, and lack of inclusive and welcoming community ranked 7th. Honestly, a lack of reliability or support from people, I mean, I've had jobs where it's just really sink and swim. Like, you figure it out on your own, or just get out, or your life is hell. Having good leadership is very important, especially if they care about the job, and especially if they're willing to help employees go up, elevate them to do better at their job. Because we've all been there. We've had crappy leaders, crappy management, crappy supervisors. And whenever you ask them a question, it's just like, oh my God. Why can't you do that? They're not great leaders. If they're like that, they're not great leaders. Everyone's different. If you want to be a good leader, you have to recognize that everyone's different. Everyone learns differently. And it's just a matter of figuring out what works for the employee to get their job done. One is better encouragement. One is more visual. One is better with written. I mean, have that discussion. Well, how do you learn better? And if you have problems, come back to me and ask me the question. And if they do come back to you, don't give them crap. Otherwise, they're going to be too scared to come up to you again and ask questions. And then before you know it, productivity's down because people are too scared to ask their leadership for help. Let's see. Having strong relationships with others is significantly correlated with happiness and well-being. In addition, work is a primary place where people feel a sense of connectivity and community, which are important for health and fulfillment. I mean, to each their own in that last part. Like, I know what it's like when you're unemployed and you just feel like crap because you have no money and you don't feel like a provider. You can't provide anything right now, especially if you have people who depend on you. So I get that. But my overall strong sense, like, although I really enjoy my job, but my primary place is with my family. My immediate community, not my work. I mean, yeah, you could develop a great sense of community at work, right? My only problem is that I guess based on experience, like, I'm too scared to have super strong loyalty for companies because I've been laid off before after working my butt off for them. and being one of their top performers and still get laid off. It's a terrible feeling. And you just know a company's willing to fire anyone just like that, right? Give people the opportunity to work together on meaningful tasks and emphasize shared outcomes. Encourage people to seek help from teammates when they're solving problems or facing a work challenge, and create cultures of respect and acceptance among colleagues. This goes up and down. Like I said, if you're in a leadership position, if people come up to you and ask for help, ask you questions, it is very important that you set a positive example, positive response. Because if you give them blowback, if you're diligently telling them to figure it out, diligently telling them to F off, they're never going to come back and ask anything out of you again. And the work environment is going to go downhill from there. Engage through development. Another key element of engagement is develop and career advancement. No matter what their age or generation, people want to grow and learn. In fact, the experience of thriving includes elements of striving to improve and get better all the time. I actually have been with companies that's like always promoted this, and I appreciate that. And there's also been companies who carrot stick you, right? That you can move up when really it's just an illusion. They have someone else in mind to promote. That's hard to identify, and I get it. And I know some of you, maybe many of you, who've been in those positions, you know, the corporate work style, where you're just trying to get promoted, you're doing everything right, you go through the 5 interviews they require, and then out of nowhere, someone else who's not even in the race gets promoted to that position. In the McKinsey poll, a lack of career development was 4th most important in its negative effects on engagement. And in the HP data, only 25% of people said they had the opportunity for career growth. People could be engaged by the work they're doing today, but they also want to look toward the future, provide formal training and intentionally learning plans so people can see what they can make their next contribution. Ensure people have proximity, face-to-face or virtual, to teammates so they can learn from others and pick up on key knowledge throughout accomplishing projects together. Also set up a mentor relationship so people can create social capital, obtain feedback, and receive coaching as they build their careers. I greatly appreciate that last sentence, honestly. Like, mentorship is very important. But this is very positive work environment. This is very important because there's a lot of people who their employer, they thought it was just going to be a stepping stone, but they ended up staying there because they really, really like the positive working environment there, and they really like the people. So if you can set up that type of work environment, that's great. But I mean, in order for that to happen, it's top down, not down up, right? So if the executives are in a good mood, then the management's in a good mood, and then the staff is in a good mood. And the staff could really use mentorship from management, and management could really use mentorship from executives. You know, just most people should be connected to some type of a mentor. Let's see. Engage through leadership. People also say their leadership isn't caring or inspiring enough. This was ranked as the 9th largest engagement issue in the McKinsey poll. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've all had bad leaders, right? But those bad leaders you still learn from. You learn what not to do. Leadership is arguably more challenging today than it's ever been. Leaders must drive results in an increasingly competitive landscape and attract and retain employees in one of the most challenging talent markets ever. In addition, leaders must support people with their well-being in a context where issues of depression, anxiety, and mental health are rife. You know what? That's very true. I will give management that part. Leadership, because that is challenging, especially with a lot of more entitled generation coming up, right? Where you throw them in the role, get them to do work, and then they're overwhelmed by the amount of responsibility that's required for them to make a paycheck. But it's also life, and it's something you should have screened before you hired them. Take intentional steps to hire the best leaders and develop them so they can nurture their teams and have a positive effect on the culture. Positive effect. That is so important. I was just talking about it because we know most of us experience a very negative culture in a company. Give leaders guidance and coaching so they can build their own capabilities, resilience, and resourcefulness, and hold them accountable for not only driving performance but nurturing people. Engage through well-being. Another factor that detracts from engagement is the McKinsey poll was lack of support for employee health and well-being. This was ranked 8th in the issues that created barriers. Lack of support for employee health and well-being. I mean, first of all, most employers don't give a crap. They don't give a crap. Come on now. They hired you, they're paying you, they expect you to do the job. That's where it should stop, honestly. This whole notion of quiet quitting is stupid. It's stupid, right? Like, I read through their job requirements. I'm doing them. You're saying I'm making minimum effort and I'm a quiet quitter? Why? Because I won't go above and beyond and do extra stuff that I'm not getting compensated for? I mean, let's have a discussion where if you want me to do this extra work, I want to renegotiate my compensation. Oh, look at this. Engage through compensation. That's next. So let me finish this. Be sure you have programs and processes to support all kinds of well-being, physical, cognitive, and emotional, from benefits and insurance to affinity groups or employee assistance programs. Take a holistic view of well-being and provide plenty of variety so the diverse employees can tap into the unique solution which is right for them. Honestly, good luck in that area. Engage through compensation. And of course, you must provide fair compensation. This is probably... Hold on, let me finish this. This was number 1 on the list of issues that detract from engagement in the McKinsey poll. Holy crap, kidding me? Provide salary and benefits that will grow over time, both to address inflation and to reward employees' value to the organization. Also, be sure to consider the holistic employee value equation and all the elements of total compensation, salary, benefits, perks, programs, time off, and more. This is how you can show employees that you value them, not pizza parties. Oh my God. This paragraph should have been the first thing up there out of everything I've been reading. Like, if you really want employees to stay, first identify who are the ones you really want to stay on, because you don't know if they're submitting their resume somewhere else or anything. You need to have a conversation. Hey, how do you like it here so far? Where do you see yourself in the future? We really like you here, and we're interested in paying you more as long as we get reassurance that you're willing to stay. How does this sound? Someone will say, yeah, dude, I get paid more. Bang, you're going to take care of a lot of my financial problems if you pay me more. Great. How about like an extra $15,000 a year? Like, oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah, whatever you need. Then they're so pumped and motivated, right? And then, I mean, again, you have to recognize those employees who are there. Oh man, this article's over. There's one more. Retaining employees by prioritizing engagement. Contrary to the negative stereotypes about work, it is an important part of life. It's an opportunity to express your talents, make a contribution to the community, and have an impact. Meaningful work, personal growth, teamwork, solid leadership, and fair treatment all contribute to a positive employee experience. When employers realize this and act on it, they'll see dividends in terms of employee engagement and performance. I mean, this is just, this is more for management to figure out what works best, what they need in their team, right? And find the right people, the right pieces in their team that makes it run like a well-oiled machine. But overall, quiet quitting, the concept, right? I mean, this article, I credit the author from Newsweek, who's the author, by Tracy Brower. I mean, very long. I broke it down pretty well overall. I mean, you use 2 studies, 2 polls, really. And it covers multiple countries. I wish it covered the US, but okay, you use what you got and what's important. Probably the reason why they put this on the bottom is so people will read through the article. I get it. Okay, fine. But yeah, the compensation is the number one thing. That is the number one thing. But the whole, like I said from the beginning, quiet quitting. It's just this employer's negative outlook of employees for doing what's required out of them. They're like, we want you to do more. Like, okay, like what more do you want me to do? Let's have a discussion of what you'd like them to do more, and see if it's fair based on their current compensation. And if they do more, what is the goal they can look forward to? What could they look forward to? Could they look for more compensation in the future? Like, hey, if I do this for 3 months without additional compensation, can I expect greater compensation? If it's working out, if you're really liking how things are going in the office. But the number one thing is compensation. This is why I guess the whole reason why quiet quitting is such a thing is people feel so undervalued, so underpaid. And, just doing what's required of them. I keep saying like the same thing over and over again. I apologize. I'll just end it here. So tell me what you guys think of this whole notion of quiet quitting, right? And everything I've just gone through here, what may challenge what I believe quiet quitting is. Or how management, maybe executives, should set the appropriate expectations. Sometimes I'm like, if you want me to, it's like you're telling me to quiet quit because I'm doing what's required out of me, but you're telling me I'm doing the minimum. If you want me to do more, then quietly pay me more. What the hell? I digress. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Have a good one.